All right, so you're thinking about a career as a court bailiff. That's pretty cool. We're going to take a deep dive into how to prepare for that job interview.
And we've got some great resources to help you out.
Yeah, RoleCatcher is a really neat platform that's going to give us a ton of great information.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does RoleCatcher actually do?
So RoleCatcher helps you prepare for job interviews. It helps you kind of tailor your answers so that you can put your best foot forward and really show why you are the best candidate for that job.
Okay, cool. And you said it also gives some career advice or like a career guide.
It does. So, for example, this deep dive that we're doing is on the court bailiff role. And they have a court bailiff career guide that goes really in depth on kind of the stages of the career and even some specializations that you can consider going into.
Wow, okay, that's awesome. So let's jump into like the interview prep then. What kind of questions does RoleCatcher think we should be prepared for a court bailiff interview?
So one of the questions that a lot of people get tripped up on is this seemingly simple question. What motivated you to become a court bailiff?
Right.
And I think a lot of people just give this canned response like, oh, I've always been interested in law enforcement.
Yeah.
But this is really your chance to show that you are genuinely passionate about this field. So think about, what was it that first sparked your interest? Was it maybe a specific case that you followed or read about?
Right.
Or did you have an experience where you felt like maybe there was some injustice in the legal system and you really want to contribute to make sure that things are fair?
Yeah.
And I think if you kind of come from that place of genuine interest and passion, it will really come across to the interviewer.
Okay.
And interviewers aren't going to just leave it there. They're probably going to have a follow-up question.
Of course.
So be prepared for something like, can you share a specific experience that solidified your interests?
Right.
Or what aspects of courtroom work do you find most compelling? So this is really your chance to shine and to really show the depth of your knowledge and enthusiasm for the court bailiff role.
Okay, so tell me what kind of example would be good for answering one of those follow-up questions.
Well, let's say, for example, you volunteered at a legal aid organization and you witnessed firsthand the impact of a court bailiff's role in ensuring the safety and smooth running of the courtroom.
Okay.
You could talk about that. Or maybe, you're a big fan of legal dramas and you've always been fascinated by the way the courtroom is portrayed in those dramas.
Locally, yeah.
You could even talk about that as long as you can tie it back to a genuine interest in the profession.
Okay.
Make it personal and make it real.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like we've tackled one question pretty well. What's another one that RoleCatcher highlights?
Okay, let's talk about, how do you handle challenging situations in the courtroom?
Okay.
Now, this is where you really demonstrate your composure and your problem-solving skills under pressure.
Right, because I imagine things can get pretty intense in a courtroom.
Oh, absolutely. You're dealing with people from all walks of life, and emotions can run very high.
Yeah.
So think about a specific situation where you faced a challenge.
Okay.
Maybe you had to deal with a disruptive individual, or there was a really tense moment during a trial.
Yeah.
Don't just say, I stay calm.
Right.
Describe the actions that you took to de-escalate the situation, how you maintained control, and how you ensured everyone's safety. Specificity is key here.
I like that advice. And am I right in assuming there's follow-ups to this question too?
You are absolutely right.
Okay.
So be prepared for something like, what strategies do you use to remain impartial and professional in emotionally charged situations? So this is really going beyond staying calm. This is about navigating those complex dynamics while upholding fairness and professionalism.
Wow. Okay, that's a good question. What would a strong answer sound like for that?
A strong answer would mention things like active listening,
Okay.
using neutral language and focusing on de-escalation. You could also highlight your understanding of courtroom procedures and your ability to enforce them fairly regardless of the emotional atmosphere.
Yeah.
This shows that you're not just reacting, you're thinking strategically.
Okay, that's some really good insight there. So it's about staying calm, but it's also about knowing how to actually handle those situations and de-escalate them appropriately.
Exactly.
All right, what's next?
All right, so let's look at this question. What skills do you possess that make you a good fit for this role? This is that classic, tell us about your strengths question,
Right.
but tailored to the specific demands of being a court bailiff.
Okay, so is this where we kind of break out those keywords from the RoleCatcher Career Guide?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
So remember, they mention things like attention to detail, communication, remaining calm under pressure, physical fitness, and a knowledge of court procedures.
Right.
But don't just list them. Bring them to life with concrete examples. So, for instance, you could say, my experience as a security guard taught me how to remain vigilant and spot potential security risks.
Okay.
Or you could say something like, my time working in customer service honed my communication and conflict resolution skills, which are crucial for interacting with diverse individuals in a courtroom setting.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're connecting your skills to the actual, job description, essentially.
Exactly. You're showing them that you have the skills and experience necessary to succeed in this role.
Okay, I like that. What about follow-ups to that question? What does RoleCatcher say?
They say that you might get a follow-up like, can you provide an example of a time you had to enforce courtroom rules and how you handled it? Or how do you stay updated on changes in court procedures and security measures?
Okay.
So these follow-ups, they're designed to test your practical knowledge and your commitment to staying current.
All right, so for that first one, then, how would we answer that? How would we enforce those courtroom rules?
So for that first one, you want to describe a situation where you had to address someone disrupting the court and really emphasize your professionalism and your ability to enforce rules firmly but respectfully.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And for that second question about staying updated, you want to mention your dedication to ongoing professional development.
Okay.
Whether it's attending workshops, reading industry publications, seeking out training opportunities, this shows that you're committed to staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
It shows a genuine interest in the evolving landscape of the profession.
Awesome. Okay, before we move on, you mentioned the AI features of RoleCatcher.
Yes.
Can you remind me how that helps with the interview prep?
So this is like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You can use their AI to tailor your answers and get feedback specific to the court bailiff role. You can practice your responses, see how they align with what employers are looking for, and even get insights on your delivery.
That's so cool. So it's almost like a virtual mock interview with personalized feedback.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay. I am really starting to get how RoleCatcher can be super helpful for preparing for this interview. What else does RoleCatcher have in store for us?
All right, let's look at this one. How do you maintain order in the courtroom?
Okay.
Now, this one, while it sounds straightforward, it actually requires a nuanced understanding of courtroom dynamics and the authority of a court bailiff.
So it's like more than just being physically present.
It is. You need to showcase your ability to anticipate potential disruptions,
Okay.
enforce rules effectively, and cultivate that calm and controlled environment.
So what's a good approach for that one?
You could say something like, I believe in a proactive approach to maintaining order. I would start by familiarizing myself with the day's case and any potential security concerns. Positioning myself strategically within the courtroom allows me to observe everyone's behavior and address any issues promptly. Clear communication, both verbal and nonverbal, is key, as is the ability to de-escalate situations before they escalate.
Okay, so you're not just reacting, you're being proactive.
Exactly.
You're looking for those potential issues and addressing them. I really like that you mentioned the nonverbal communication, too, because that could be just as powerful as anything you actually say out loud.
Absolutely. A firm but respectful presence can go a long way in maintaining order. And keep in mind that they might follow up with questions like, have you ever had to physically restrain someone in a courtroom? If so, how did you handle it?
Wow, that's intense.
It is, and it's crucial to demonstrate that you understand the seriousness of using physical force, that it would only be a last resort, always following protocols and prioritizing safety.
So how would you approach a question like that?
You could say something like, while I am trained in restraint techniques, I prioritize de-escalation methods first. However, if physical intervention became necessary, I would act swiftly and decisively, ensuring everyone's safety and documenting the incident thoroughly.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about showing that you're prepared, but also you understand the weight of those actions.
Exactly.
All right, what else should we be ready for?
Okay, so let's look at this question. How do you maintain a professional demeanor in the courtroom? This goes beyond just appearances. It's about understanding the gravity of the judicial process and demonstrating respect for everyone involved.
So it's more than just wearing the right uniform.
It is. It's about composure, appropriate language, treating everyone with respect, and adhering to courtroom etiquette. It's embodying professionalism in your actions and demeanor.
Okay, well, what would a good answer look like for that?
You could say something like this. Maintaining a professional demeanor is crucial in a courtroom. I would always arrive punctually, dress neatly and professionally. I would maintain a respectful distance from all parties. address the judge and attorneys appropriately, and avoid any unnecessary conversations or actions that could disrupt the proceedings. Even in tense situations, I would strive to remain calm and composed, focusing on maintaining order and decorum.
Okay, so you're painting a picture of what that professionalism actually looks like in action.
Yes, exactly.
But what about those follow-up questions? Remember, RoleCatcher mentioned things like, have you ever witnessed someone behaving unprofessionally in a courtroom? How did you react?
That's a great question. And it's a great opportunity for you to illustrate your ability to handle unexpected situations while maintaining your composure.
Yeah.
So you could describe a situation where you witnessed someone, maybe a member of the public or even an attorney, behaving inappropriately. And explain how you addressed the situation discreetly and professionally, ensuring that it didn't escalate or disrupt the proceedings.
Right, because you don't want to make a scene or create more chaos.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between enforcing the rules and maintaining a smooth flow.
Okay, I'm ready for our next interview challenge. What else do we need to be prepared for?
Okay, let's tackle this one. How do you ensure the safety of all individuals in the courtroom?
Okay.
This really gets to the heart of a court bailiff's responsibilities.
Right, because they're the ones protecting everyone from those potential threats.
Exactly. You need to demonstrate your understanding of security protocols and your ability to assess and mitigate risks. So think about all those potential threats, from disruptive individuals to, more serious security breaches.
Right.
And how would you proactively ensure everyone's safety?
All right, so how would we approach that in an interview?
You could say something like this: ensuring everyone's safety in the courtroom is my top priority. I would start by conducting a thorough security check before proceedings begin, looking for any suspicious items or potential hazards. Maintaining constant awareness of everyone entering and exiting, paying attention to their behavior is also crucial. If I observed anything concerning, I would take appropriate action, whether it's discreetly alerting security personnel or intervening directly if necessary.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like attention to detail is key here. Nothing gets past a vigilant court bailiff.
Precisely. And, be prepared for follow-up questions. Things
Right.
like, what would you do if you noticed someone carrying a concealed weapon? Or how would you respond to a bomb threat?
Wow, those are some high-stakes scenarios.
They are, and it's about demonstrating your ability to think quickly, act decisively, and follow established protocols. You want to assure them that you can handle even the most challenging situations while ensuring everyone's safety.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. I'm feeling much more confident in tackling some of these really challenging questions. Before we wrap up this section, can you just remind me one more time how RoleCatcher's AI can help with this interview prep?
Absolutely.
Because it seems really cool, and I just want to make sure I understand everything.
So RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your responses to interview questions and provide personalized feedback on how effectively you're conveying those skills and qualities that we've been talking about. It's like having a virtual interview coach, helping you fine-tune your answers and ensure that you're putting your best foot forward.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you can practice your answers, see how they align with what the employers are looking for. I'm really starting to get how powerful this platform is. All right, I'm ready to move on to the next section. What else does RoleCatcher have to offer?
Let's dive into this one. How do you handle situations where an individual is being uncooperative? This one's all about your conflict resolution and de-escalation skills, which are super important in a courtroom setting.
Yeah, I can imagine that comes up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with people who might be resistant, maybe even hostile.
Absolutely. And this is where your communication skills and your ability to remain calm under pressure really shine.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance between assertiveness and empathy,
Okay.
enforcing the rules while still treating everyone with respect.
So how do we answer that one?
You could say something like this: when dealing with an uncooperative individual, my priority is always de-escalation.
Okay.
I would start by trying to understand the reason behind their behavior and address it calmly and respectfully. If they're simply confused, I would provide clear instructions or explanations. If they're being deliberately disruptive, I would firmly remind them of the rules and the potential consequences of their actions. However, I would always maintain a professional and respectful demeanor, avoiding any actions that could escalate the situation.
I like how you emphasize the importance of trying to understand their behavior, because sometimes there might be a reason why they're being uncooperative, right?
Exactly. And it's important to address that underlying issue rather than just reacting to the behavior itself.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what about those follow-up questions then, where they really kind of dig into those more intense situations? I know RoleCatcher mentioned things like, have you ever had to use physical force to subdue someone in a courtroom? Or how would you handle a situation where someone was threatening violence?
Right, and those are definitely tough questions, and it's crucial to demonstrate that you understand the gravity of using force and that it would only be a last resort,
Right.
always following proper protocols and prioritizing everyone's safety.
Okay, so how do you actually answer those questions in a way that makes you sound, qualified and capable?
You could say something like, while I am trained in physical restraint techniques, I believe in exhausting all de-escalation methods first. However, if physical intervention became necessary, I would act swiftly and decisively, ensuring the safety of all individuals involved and documenting the incident thoroughly.
Okay.
And for the threat of violence, you could highlight your ability to assess the situation, communicate effectively with security personnel, and take appropriate action to protect yourself and others.
Okay, so you're showing them that you can handle those really intense situations, but also that you understand the seriousness of using force and that you're not going to jump to that as a first resort.
Exactly.
Okay, it's amazing how many different situations a court bailiff needs to be prepared for. It really is a demanding role,
It is.
but also incredibly important in maintaining order and safety in that courtroom.
It is.
Okay, what other questions should we be ready for?
All right, let's look at this one. How do you maintain confidentiality in the courtroom?
Oh,
This is all about discretion and understanding the sensitive nature of legal proceedings. As a court bailiff, you're exposed to a lot of confidential information, from witness testimonies to, sensitive evidence.
right. So it's about more than just keeping quiet about what you see and hear.
Exactly. Maintaining confidentiality is crucial for upholding the integrity of the judicial process and protecting the privacy of everyone involved.
So how do you approach that question?
You could say something like this. I understand that maintaining confidentiality is paramount in a courtroom setting. I would treat all information I'm exposed to with the utmost discretion, avoiding any discussions of case details outside the courtroom. I would also be mindful of my surroundings, ensuring that sensitive documents or conversations are not overheard by unauthorized individuals. I would adhere to all court protocols regarding the handling and storage of confidential information.
It's like a court bailiff needs to be a vault of secrets.
In a way, yes. They are entrusted with sensitive information,
Right.
and they must handle it responsibly. And, interviewers might follow up with some questions that really test your commitment to confidentiality.
Oh, okay, like what?
RoleCatcher mentioned things like, have you ever been tempted to share confidential information about a case?
Right.
How did you resist? Or what would you do if you overheard someone discussing a case inappropriately?
Ooh, okay, those are tough. How do we navigate those questions?
So for that temptation question, emphasize your understanding of the legal and ethical implications of breaching confidentiality.
Okay.
You could say something like, I understand that sharing confidential information could jeopardize a case and violate the privacy of those involved.
Yeah.
I would never betray the trust placed in me as a court bailiff. For that inappropriate discussion scenario, highlight your responsibility to report any breaches of confidentiality to your supervisor or the appropriate authorities.
Okay, so you're not just staying silent, you're taking action if you see something that's not right.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. What's next?
All right, let's look at this one. How do you ensure that court proceedings run smoothly? This is about your organizational skills.
Right.
Your attention to detail and your understanding of courtroom procedures. A court bailiff plays a really crucial role in keeping everything running on time and according to protocol.
So it's kind of like being the stage manager for a play, but with much higher stakes.
I love that analogy. That's a great way to put it. A court bailiff's actions directly impact the efficiency and effectiveness of the proceedings.
Right.
It's about ensuring a smooth and organized flow, minimizing disruptions, and keeping everything on track.
All right, so how do we approach that one then?
You could say something like, I believe that a court bailiff plays a vital role in ensuring the smooth operation of court proceedings. I would start by familiarizing myself with the day's docket and the order of events.
Yeah.
I would ensure that the courtroom is properly prepared with all the necessary supplies and equipment in place. I would communicate effectively with the judge, attorneys, and other court personnel to anticipate their needs and address any issues promptly. I would also be mindful of time constraints, ensuring that witnesses are called in a timely manner and that breaks are taken as scheduled.
Wow, okay, so there's a lot of multitasking involved. It's about being organized, being aware of what's happening, and keeping things moving.
Exactly. And, be prepared for those follow-up questions that test your problem-solving skills in specific scenarios.
Okay.
RoleCatcher mentioned interviewers might ask things like, what would you do if a key witness was late? Or how would you handle a situation where the courtroom equipment malfunctioned?
Right. So real-life challenges that happen in a courtroom setting.
Exactly. You want to showcase your ability to adapt to unexpected situations, find solutions, and keep those proceedings on track.
Minimize those disruptions and delays. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like I could actually handle a court bailiff interview now.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Remember, preparation is key, and RoleCatcher provides those valuable tools and insights to help you succeed.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, that AI-powered platform that RoleCatcher has.
Yes.
Can you just remind me one more time how that can help with the interview prep?
Absolutely. So remember, it's like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket.
Okay, yeah.
You can use their AI to tailor your answers, practice your delivery, and even get feedback on how your responses align with the specific skills and qualities that employers are looking for in a court bailiff. It's like having a virtual mock interview with personalized feedback.
Yeah, that's incredible. It sounds like a game changer for anyone who's serious about landing a court bailiff job.
It really is.
Okay, this has been really helpful so far. I'm feeling much more prepared to tackle those interview questions. But I'm curious to learn more about the role itself, beyond just acing that interview.
You're in luck. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into RoleCatcher's Court Bailiff Career Guide,
Okay.
exploring the different career stages, specializations, and the evolving landscape of this fascinating profession.
Okay, I can't wait. This deep dive just keeps getting better and better.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with even more insights to help you navigate the world of court bailiffs and land your dream job in the justice system.
Awesome. Sounds great. All right, so we talked a lot about those interview questions, but now I kind of want to get into what it actually takes to be a court bailiff.
Right, like what skills do you need? What kind of personality?
Yeah, exactly. What are we looking for here?
Well, RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually highlights some really key areas. And one of the things they emphasize is strong communication skills because you're constantly interacting with diverse individuals, often in high-stress situations. So being able to communicate clearly, calmly, and effectively is essential.
That makes sense because you're dealing with defendants, witnesses, attorneys, judges, the public, all different types of people.
Exactly. And you need to maintain that professional and impartial demeanor, even when things get heated. And that's why RoleCatcher also stresses the importance of emotional intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Being able to read people, understand their motivations, and de-escalate situations
Right.
before they get out of control.
So it's not just about, enforcing the rules. It's also about understanding the people in the courtroom.
Absolutely, and understanding those dynamics. And let's not forget about physical fitness.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Because the job often requires you to be on your feet for long periods, escort individuals, and, potentially even restrain someone if necessary.
Right.
So maintaining a certain level of fitness is crucial for ensuring your safety and the safety of others.
That's a good point. Yeah, it can be a physically demanding role. What about the mental aspect of it, though? Because I imagine it takes a certain type of person to be able to handle, the stress and the emotional nature of the job.
You're right, it does. And RoleCatcher really highlights the importance of resilience
Okay.
and the ability to cope with challenging situations because you're exposed to a lot of difficult things in a courtroom.
Yeah.
From emotional outbursts to disturbing evidence.
Right.
Being able to kind of compartmentalize, de-stress, and maintain a healthy work-life balance is super important
Yeah.
for long-term success.
So we've got communication, emotional intelligence, physical fitness, mental resilience. What other key qualities does RoleCatcher mention in their career guide?
So another big one is problem-solving skills.
Okay.
And the ability to think on your feet because things come up in a courtroom all the time.
Right.
Witnesses are late, equipment malfunctions, something always happens.
Right. Unexpected things always happen.
Exactly. And so being able to quickly assess the situation, find solutions, adapt,
Yeah.
that's crucial.
So it's not just about knowing the rules and following the rules. It's about knowing how to problem solve and adapt to those changing situations.
Absolutely.
I like that.
And remember, all of these skills and qualities can be highlighted during your interview.
Right.
It's not just about answering the questions. It's about really showcasing your suitability.
It's about connecting those skills to the job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of showcasing your skills, RoleCatcher's AI platform can actually analyze your responses to those interview questions
Oh.
and give you personalized feedback on how effectively you're conveying these skills.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like having a virtual interview coach helping you fine-tune your answers.
Okay, so you can really make sure that you're presenting yourself in the best way possible. Okay, so what else does the career guide cover? Because I'm really curious about, like, the career paths that are available to court bailiffs. Like, what does that look like?
Well, they delve into the different stages of a court bailiff's career, and they highlight that typical progression and those opportunities for growth and specialization.
Oh, cool. Okay, tell me more about that.
So typically it starts with an entry-level position as a court bailiff trainee.
Okay.
And that's where you really learn the ropes.
Yeah.
Under the guidance of those experienced bailiffs.
You're shadowing the pros.
Exactly. You're soaking up all that knowledge,
Yeah.
getting that hands-on experience.
What kind of stuff would a trainee do?
So you would assist with maintaining order and security,
Okay.
learning how to transport offenders, making sure the courtroom has all the necessary supplies, observing how to open and close court proceedings.
Yeah. So you're kind of like getting a feel for everything.
Exactly. Building a solid foundation,
Yeah.
understanding the basic functions.
Okay. So then what happens after the trainee stage?
So as you gain experience, you demonstrate your competence, you typically move on to a junior court bailiff role.
Okay.
And this is where you start taking on more responsibility, handling tasks independently,
Right.
becoming more of a key member of the team.
So you're flying solo, putting all that training into practice.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then, with continued dedication and professional development, you could advance to a senior court bailiff position.
Okay.
And this is where your leadership skills really come into play.
Oh, right.
Because you might be responsible for overseeing a team of bailiffs, coordinating security protocols.
Oh, wow. So you're not just maintaining order, you're leading a team, making sure everything's running smoothly.
Exactly. You have that broader perspective.
Okay.
And throughout your career, RoleCatcher emphasizes the importance of continuous learning, professional development.
Right, because things are always changing.
Exactly. Attending workshops, training programs, staying updated.
Okay.
It's about honing your skills, expanding your knowledge base.
Makes sense. The legal landscape's always evolving.
It is.
Courtroom procedures are constantly being updated, so
Yes.
it's important to stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. And, RoleCatcher's AI platform can even help you identify relevant professional development opportunities
Oh, wow. Okay.
based on your skills and your goals.
So it's like having a personalized career advisor.
Exactly, guiding you towards that growth and advancement.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I had no idea how much, thought went into becoming a court bailiff.
It's a very dynamic role.
Okay, so we covered the typical career progression, but what about specializations?
Yeah.
Are there different types of court bailiffs?
That's a great question. And while the core responsibilities are the same, there are opportunities to specialize, depending on your interests and the needs of the court.
Cool. Tell me about some of these specializations.
So one area you could focus on is public safety and security.
Okay.
And this might involve, developing expertise in courtroom security protocols, emergency response procedures, or even, specialized training in handling high-risk individuals.
Okay.
So you really become an expert in maintaining that safe and secure environment.
So you're essentially a security specialist within the courtroom setting.
Exactly. Another area you could specialize in is law and government.
Okay.
And this is where you deepen your knowledge of legal codes, court procedures, government regulations.
Okay.
And you really play a more informed role
Yeah.
in supporting that judicial process.
So you're becoming a legal eagle, making sure everything's done by the book.
Precisely. And, don't forget about the importance of customer and personal service skills.
Oh, that's an interesting one. How does that come into play in a courtroom?
Because remember, you're interacting with a diverse range of people every day, often in those highly emotional situations.
Right.
So being able to communicate effectively, handle difficult interactions with empathy,
Okay.
providing clear instructions or information, it really makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's about humanizing that legal process,
I like that.
ensuring everyone feels heard.
Yeah, because a court bailiff is often the first person that people see when they come into the courtroom.
Right.
So making sure that they have a good experience and they understand what's happening is really important.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI platform can actually analyze your skills and interests to recommend specializations that might be a good fit.
Oh, wow.
It's like having that personalized career advisor,
Okay.
helping you explore those different paths.
Wow, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had no idea how diverse the role of a court bailiff is.
Yeah, it's a fascinating profession, and
Yeah.
RoleCatcher really provides those tools and resources to help you.
Before we move on, I just want
Yeah.
to say again how cool RoleCatcher's AI platform sounds.
It's amazing.
Like the ability to tailor your answers, practice, get feedback, even explore specializations. It's pretty incredible.
It is a game changer.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from interview prep to like actual career advice. I'm feeling much more prepared. What's next on our agenda?
So in the next part of our deep dive, we'll actually explore some of the specific duties
Right.
and responsibilities of a court bailiff.
Okay, sounds good. I can't
Stay
wait.
tuned. We'll be back with even more insights to help you navigate the world of court bailiffs and land your dream job.
Awesome.
Ah.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills, the specializations, the career path, but now I want to know, what does a court bailiff actually do on a daily basis?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's career guide really comes in handy, because they give you a glimpse into what it's like to be a court bailiff in action.
Okay.
And trust me, it is not a desk job.
All right, I'm ready. Tell me about it. What do they do?
So the main thing is maintaining order and security in the courtroom.
Okay, so they're the ones making sure that everything runs smoothly, people are behaving themselves.
Exactly. Think of them as like the guardians of the judicial process,
Right.
making sure it's a safe and respectful environment for everyone.
Okay, so they're kind of like setting the tone for the whole courtroom.
They are. They're the eyes and ears. They're constantly observing, anticipating potential issues, and responding swiftly.
Okay, cool. So what else is on their to-do list?
One of the big things is escorting and transporting offenders.
Okay.
They're the ones making sure that people in custody are brought to and from the courtroom safely and securely.
Wow, so that could be kind of intense, dealing with people who might be dangerous or unpredictable.
It definitely requires a lot of vigilance and composure. You got to be aware of your surroundings, maintain control, follow the protocol.
Right, safety first.
Absolutely.
Okay. What other tasks do they typically handle?
Well, they're also responsible for making sure the courtroom is prepared, for the proceedings.
Oh.
So checking that all the supplies are there, setting up any equipment like microphones, audiovisual systems.
So they're kind of like the stage manager for the courtroom.
Yeah, making sure the logistics are all taken care of.
Okay, what else?
Another key duty is calling witnesses to testify.
Okay.
They're the ones making sure the witnesses are there when they're needed, escorting them to the stand, administering oaths.
So again, it's a lot of interacting with people, making them feel comfortable.
Exactly, you're guiding them through that process.
Yeah. Okay, so this all sounds very interesting. But what about those like unexpected things that happen? Like, how do they handle those curveballs?
Well, that's where adaptability and problem solving come in.
Okay.
RoleCatcher emphasizes that because things rarely go exactly according to plan.
Right.
Witnesses might be late, equipment could break down,
Yeah.
emotions can run high.
You got to think on your feet.
Exactly. You got to stay calm, find solutions, be resourceful.
Be that steady presence. Okay, wow. This has been really interesting. It's made me realize how important court bailiffs are to the justice system.
They really are.
It's not just about, keeping order. It's about facilitating the entire process.
It is. It's about fairness. It's about protecting everyone. It's a very rewarding role for the right person.
Yeah, I can see that. And like you said, if you're interested in this career, RoleCatcher has some amazing resources.
They really do. They've got everything you need to prepare.
From interview prep to actually learning about the career.
They've really thought of everything.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of court bailiffs. I'm feeling super informed.
That's great to hear.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for another fascinating look at the world of work.
Sounds good.